I be needing some distance. I ain't purposely sipping. Man, I'm feeling too different. Working hard on my vision. That's the life that I'm living. I ain't focused on y'all, I'm just minding my business. The energy. The energy changing. What's up, fam? What's going on with you? I always gotta do this when I get on. When I get home, man, I gotta clean the energy. Gotta cleanse, man. You know, you be dealing with so much shit during the day. I really believe that this cleans my area, you feel me? So it does just that. You know what I mean? Dealing with everybody else's energy throughout the day. You know, I want to cleanse my energy and give y'all my pure vibes. Spend some time focusing on you. What's up, fam? What's good with you, man? We here, baby. Let's get it. You know what I mean? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's go, man. Earlier today, I was like talking on it, but I couldn't get like comfortable and really dive in depth like I wanted to because I was trucking. You feel me? So now I get to really dive in on my ego death journey and what I've been experiencing thus far on my ego death. What's up? What's up, fam? What's good with your reflection? I hope you're having a blissful experience of life thus far because you deserve it, fam. You know what I mean? What's up, fam? What's going on in mine? I hope I said your name right, fam. Vaughn, what's up with you, fam? What's good with y'all, man? I hope everybody having a blissful experience, man. I hope y'all having a blissful experience in life thus far because you deserve it and you know that. You know what I mean? What's up, dear awareness? I like your name. I like your name. What's up, reflection? Life been getting better the way it's supposed to be, fam. That's the way it's supposed to be. About to go ahead and start this, John, man. I'm about to go ahead and start. Because I wanted to just, I'm going to leave this up for just, like, for anybody to tune in with it that's having a enlightenment moment in their life. And they can use this to make sure they, like, just so they know that they're not crazy. You feel me? Because it's a very surreal moment. And it's very eye-opening. And it's very beautiful. You know what I mean? So, I'm going to start by saying, I'm going to start with the basics. I started my spiritual journey. About like 3 years ago. As you can tell, like on Spiritual Tony. And me doing that, I went into it with an open mindset that I wanted to just realize who I was and why I was here. Like as if I was looking for a purpose of being. You know what I mean? So when I went into it, you know, I dived into the culture really heavy. Like really heavy. Ancestors, spirit guides, gang stalking, crystals, sage. I got sage here right now, you feel me? And everything, like I even got a tattoo with just free spirit. Like I was really trying to find out why I was here, bro, because it was really, you know, it was bothersome, you know what I mean? And it's been like 3 years now, and I'm enlightened. And I feel like I'm existing, but I don't exist as far as ego is concerned. So let me break it down to my like eye-opener, or what made me realize like I was going through enlightenment and what I felt led to that. And then I'm gonna break it down how the ego is really built, how the structure is built, and what you might can do as a pointer, like just a reference point to lead to your enlightenment, hopefully. You know what I mean? I don't know how to enlighten others. I just know that I'm enlightened. So with that being said, I want to just start off by saying I live in gratitude towards you all. I live in gratitude towards my reflection. I live in gratitude towards the divine. And I let the divine work through me throughout my intuition to serve other reflections out here, to try to empower you and let you know that you are God. You are that I am. You know what I'm saying? You are it. And you are perfect exactly where you be, like exactly where you are in life. And life is happening for you. It is not to make you the victim. It is just happening for you. So diving into it, I think it really started when I went on the road. When I went on the road, I went on the road because I was going through a divorce. You know, I was going through a divorce. I was very heartbroken, mad at the world, felt victimized, and I felt like everything was coming down on me at once. And in the midst of all that, I was losing my faith in Christianity. I felt like God or Jesus wasn't really answering my prayers like I was hoping. And that's because I was sitting around waiting for a blessing. So with that being said, I went on the road. I left everything behind. I left everything. Everything, my friends, family, kids, everything, bro. Like my son, everything behind to go on this spiritual journey of mine and just see America and really venture out into the unknown in my uncomfort zone. So when I did that, I realized that I did not know what I was doing here for real, and I did not know like how deep the spiritual journey can get once you venture out into the unknown, wanting answers from the universe, wanting answers from the divine, and being open to receiving. So when I went onto the road, you know, I ran across Spiritual Self, I ran across Sadhguru, and they put me on meditation and everything. And then I ran across Joe Dispenza as well, and he taught me about the subconscious mind. And I realized that my brain would never stop chattering, bro. It would never stop talking while I was on the road. And while I was on the road, I was really just observing that. I was like, yo, that shit interesting, you feel me? My brain won't shut up. I was really observing that. And as I kept on observing, I kept realizing that I wasn't my thoughts during my meditational practices. And to say, like, I've been meditating for about 2 years straight, and I was just observing, mastering my chi energy and just getting in tune with the awareness of it all. So as I was observing my thoughts, you know, I caught myself being a follower. I'm not going to even lie. I caught myself following everybody else because I felt like that was the truth. Spirituality was the truth. Because it was so divine in that time in my life during the divorce, during leaving my family, during solitude. Spirituality and the whole practice of it all was really giving me a sense of hope. You know what I'm saying? It was really giving me a great vibration. It really raised my vibe and let me become more optimistic. But at the same time, I was keeping an open mind. I wasn't clinging on to spirituality. I only clinged on it because it was making me less miserable, to be honest with you. And it was like, I saw what I was doing to other people with my vibration and empowering them. And that created the passion and the inspiration for it all. So with that being said, I was still continuing to do the meditational practices. And then as I was doing these meditational practices, I started to add shrooms into play. That's when I ventured off and started taking shrooms. So when I ventured off taking shrooms, I had one trip. I'm gonna talk about my first trip. It was my first monster dosage. It was about 12 G's of shrooms. When I did shrooms, it broke my ego down and it let me know what my ego was. I did not know that my ego was my identity. I thought literally I was a spirit in the flesh existing here. You know what I mean? That I was the ego and everything else, like, you know what I mean? And then it literally told me that everything was meaningless. And that really, it hurt me in a way because I was taking everything so personal. When the shrooms was telling me that, it was confusing that a plant would get very in depth with life. I didn't understand how a shroom plant, something that grew organically from the ground, was giving me intuitively like feelings, bro, like, and talking to me, telling me like, your mama is just playing your mom. You're just playing her son. You're not really existing. All of this shit don't matter. And I was just losing. I was like, what the fuck? Like, but this is meaningful. This has a significant meaning in my life. This is my purpose. And it was like, just shutting me up every time. Like, no, you're connected to everything. You don't mean more than that tree that's outside doing nothing. You're not superior to anything. So then when I came down off the shrooms, I felt my consciousness and my vibration lowering back to a human being state. You feel me? And that was really mind-boggling as well. I was like, damn, why I feel so distorted? Like I'm not all the way here type shit. You know what I mean? And then I came back to my senses and I kept my meditational practice going. I kept on doing my meditational practices, being the observer. But the thing was, I was getting so in tune with awareness during my meditational practices. I started to move my arm with the intentions of moving my arm, but not actually using my muscles to move my arm. And I would feel like the jerking sensations. You know what I mean? And that was very like crazy to me. It was a crazy experience, and I kept doing it. As I kept meditating, I realized the more I observed my thoughts, the less they was coming in my head. They was really floating in like clouds and disappearing like clouds as well. So I was like, yo, this shit is very interesting. I'm not thinking as much no more. And then one day, y'all saw, I took a break off social media for like 2 months. I literally stopped entertaining myself. I wasn't doing no music. I wasn't getting on social media. I wasn't trying to be out there. I wasn't really in tune with that shit like that. And then that drove my mind crazy because I wasn't entertaining myself. So you got to think, as a truck driver, you drive 11 hours a day, and most of it will be on a straight stretch with 300 miles going through Arizona or New Mexico. So I'm looking at the road, driving, and my brain is telling me, pick up your phone. What is your mom doing? What's your son doing? What's going on back home? What are they talking about on social media? Do you got any new followers? Do you got somebody in your DMs? What's going on? Are you missing out on an opportunity? What are you doing? Pick up your phone. And I just kept on ignoring it. I was ignoring it, but it was driving me crazy. I was ignoring it. And then at the end of 2 months, I noticed something. And expanding, like it was an expansion within my consciousness. I got more in tune with the trees because I was bored. I was so bored that I would go outside and use that as my entertainment. So I would go outside and meditate, and not just meditate. I would look at a tree for a long, extensive period of time, bro, because I ain't have my phone to entertain me. So I'd be sitting there looking at a tree like this. And literally trying to see the difference between me and the tree from an ego standpoint. And then it got to the point where I was like, hold up, bro. The tree is literally just existing like I'm existing here. But the only thing about the tree is it's not talking to me, telling me that I'm a human being. I'm the one talking to the tree, telling the tree that it's a tree. You know what I mean? So then go past that. Now I'm home, right? It's been like a year and a half. This is all happening in a time span, like extended point of time. And I did another monster dosage. This time it literally told me that we are art from the divine. You know what I'm saying? We are art, literally art, down from our brain to our cells that give us the sensation of life. You know what I mean? All of our senses are playing a part, and it's specifically designed that let you have an experience of life. That's what it told me. But during that time, I was already letting go of spirituality a little bit. I was like, hold on, bro. I was catching on when I came back that I was a follower. Like everybody else. I was in the sheep herd, bro. I was like, yo, I want to find a sense of belonging like everybody else. And then I realized what the subconscious mind was doing. And I learned more about my subconscious mind. And I learned how your subconscious mind, literally as an infant, was taking in information to build your identity, to build your ego structure, to give you an identity and a sense of self that's deep and surreal, that's a deeper experience of life. Like my name, my middle name, like who's my uncle, who's my aunt, what do I like to do in life? All these things was into my ego to create my experience of Tony. You feel me? I realized that. And then I did shrooms, and it literally told me like, yo, you are art. You really are in the dream state. And then I did, all right, and this shit crazy, bro. Because the enlightenment, I already been enlightened, bro. I was just very skeptical of it. You know what I mean? I always been an unbiased skeptic. And then, I would say about this Monday, it really hit me like on some crazy shit, bro. I did another monster dosage. And it literally told me that I was like creating everything with these words that I'm saying out of my mouth. And just letting it go off into the wind and letting the universe carry it and the all-knowing do it. And it literally showed me how I created my whole life. Just by my words. Just by my words. And my positive intentions. And not even stressing about it. Not caring about it. not trying to put it out there like that. You know what I mean? Not trying to chase nothing. Not trying to chase enlightenment. I wasn't even trying to become enlightened no more. I was more so surprised that I wasn't thinking no more, because I wasn't entertaining myself to the point that my brain went crazy, that I wasn't entertaining no thoughts, and my brain just decided to shut off. My brain shut off. My brain wasn't thinking no more. I don't think like that. You feel me? So, with that being said, I can't really tell you the point where I really became enlightened, because it happened so quick and I was skeptical of it. You know what I mean? I was skeptical because there's so many gurus, spiritual teachers, Greek philosophers, fucking Buddhists, everybody out here telling you what the truth is. So I was like, yo, intuitively, I feel like I don't exist and I'm just here in a dream state. But am I making an egotistic decision? Is that really what it is? You feel me? But I'm not thinking like that, so I can't really ponder on the thought. It just crossed my mind because I consciously told myself that I wanted to think that, if that makes sense. When I think something, I consciously bring the thought about. It don't pop up in my head as a random thought no more. You feel me? A lot of people get random thoughts that pop in their head throughout the day, all the fucking time. I don't. I cannot relate to that shit no more. I gotta consciously make a decision that I want to think about something, and then I will think about it. And then I was like, hold up, bro. Hold up. I just kept on meditating and shit like that. But I started to dive deeper. And I realized how fucking powerful the ego is. And I realized that I don't exist. And I'm connected to everything. And this is like, I can try to advocate it as much as I want to. You know what I mean? Everybody tries to do. Once they become enlightened, they want to spread the news and tell everybody about it. But words can only do so much. You can only use these words to your power or whatever like intelligence you have within you. You know what I'm saying? And me, I don't got the vocabulary for that shit. You know, I'm straightforward. You know, I didn't give a fuck about school like that. So I tell you straight up, like, I just felt like I was connected to the wall, bruh. The wall, my seat, and everything, because I am aware of it. And I am experiencing that sensation from the inside out. It's never nothing from the outside that I am experiencing. It's always from the outside. Down to if my girl was to kiss me on my cheek, my brain would send a signal throughout my cells to give me that sensation, specifically where she kissed me at. So basically, it was like I kissed my damn self, if that makes sense. Everything was happening from the inside out, but instead of just saying that, I was so aware of it because I wasn't pondering on the thought of it. I was just experiencing it. And then my consciousness expanded to the point where I literally felt, and I still feel, like I'm connected to everything in the dream state. And we're living in the dream. And we are alive in a dream that the ego is aiding to make this shit feel more real. You know what I'm saying? I hope I explained that well, bro. I'm not very good at that type of shit. Like, when it comes to enlightenment, that's deeper than talking spiritual talk. You feel me? That's deeper than talking about vibrations, low vibrations, high vibrations. You're literally talking about being in the dream state, and this shit is not real. And when you go to sleep, that's who you are. And when you wake up, you are in the dream state. That's what I'm literally trying to explain to my reflection. And this shit came about by me stopping, like, all entertainment. I wasn't entertaining myself no more. When you come into the work, now I'm going to start breaking it down on what your ego is. Because that's as far as I can get on explaining my awakening, because it was so real that I can't really capture the moment like that. I can't tell you, oh, Friday, August 23rd of 2021, I was enlightened. It hit so fast, I was skeptical. You know what I mean? I was very skeptical because it was so real, and I felt alienated. I felt isolated because nobody could really talk about this with me, because either people are very spiritual and they're talking about the universe, or they're Christians, or they believe in atheism, or anything of that nature. They got a certain belief. They got a certain ego structure. So every time I tried to explain to them, they would shut me up using their knowledge on a hand-me-down knowledge. You feel me? And I'll be like, damn, I can't really explain this like you explained that hand-me-down ass knowledge. So I might as well just shut up. You know what I'm saying? So I stopped shutting up. I started just telling people like, yo, you are literally pure consciousness. I don't even like to call it God, but that's what it is. You are that I am. You are literally pure consciousness experiencing thyself, collecting data for the source to change the platform to keep experiencing the dream state. And that can happen on Earth, that can happen in another dimension, that can happen anywhere, but it's all oneness. It's all oneness. So if this Earth, planet Earth, was to cease to exist, the whole galaxy, if it exists, that's another place that you can get reincarnated as some type of being of some sort. So with this being said, now I'm going to break down the ego structure on why we feel like we got such a specific purpose in life or a meaning in life, or why we feel like we're so important. So when you grew up as a child, and I observe to a T now, I got a child that's 5 months old, right? So I'm observing my daughter. She don't know no better. She's pure consciousness that haven't had no ego structure built yet. And the ego structure starts to be built by the parents. This is right, that is wrong. This is your name. This is why you need to be nice to other people. It starts in so many ways to build the ego structure. It really gets in depth when you start to go to school and they start to grade you on these tests and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? That's when your ego structure really gets built. You start to feel like you're special just because you made a good grade on a damn test or something. Or you start to feel less special just because you didn't make a good grade on a test or something. And it continues all the way up until you graduate. They are building the ego structure, so when you go out into the world, you have a sense of belonging to a civilization and you can play your fucking part. So you feel like you're somebody in this dream state. So nobody ever gets to tap into their intuition because their ego structure has been built from the ground up all the way until they was in 12th grade, and they never learned about the subconscious mind and nothing like that unless you take psychology classes. So with that being said, we go into school and it's like this. They'll tell you like, yo, if you being good, I'm gonna give you some candy. If you being bad, you don't get no candy. So me, I reflected on that, I reflected. And I realized that when I went to school, I was like, they called me a bad child. And I realized how I felt, you know what I'm saying? How I felt egotistically. You know what I'm saying? Like I was comparing myself to, that's when pure consciousness started to compare itself to somebody else as if I'm an individual and you're an individual. But the difference is I must be a bad individual because I didn't get candy, and you must be a good individual because you did receive candy. You know what I'm saying? But it was very subliminal to the point where the elite knew what they was doing. They knew about the ego structure and they knew about the subconscious mind. So the subconscious mind, you could say that it goes hand in hand with the ego structure process, the building process. So with that being said, they did this shit in routine. You go to school 5 days a week, getting programmed. Not programmed in a way that we'll say like, oh, they taught us shit that we didn't really need. No, they're basically trying to make you feel more of an individual. More like this shit is like you. If you did good in school or whatever like that, that don't really matter. But the point that you can make a comparison to your classmates, that's all that really matters. They got valedictorians in high school that makes them feel like they're the superior of the whole damn class. And then you'll look at them like, damn, I couldn't be in their shoes because I'm not smart enough. Or they wanted you to compare yourself. Because that's what you do when you get out of high school. You start comparing yourself. You start chasing shit. You start feeling like you have to accomplish something. Because in school, you had to feel like you had to accomplish something that whole fucking time. That's why they got report cards, so you can have an accomplishment. You feel me, bro? You understand? I'm just rambling right now. Y'all already know how I'm coming, bro. Like, I free flow. I'm in the flow state, so I'm just rambling. But they wanted you to have a sense of accomplishment. They wanted you to feel that you could not be blissful unless you was accomplishing something in fucking first grade, second grade, third grade. When you got your report card, if it wasn't good enough, you would feel that sense of not accomplishing something. Because your parents would treat you like so, because they've been programmed with the ego structure, just like you did, by the elite. So they would go ahead and lash out on you, telling you that you need to do better in school. And then you would look around in your classmates like, yo, how are y'all getting it? Like, am I not good enough or some shit? Like, what's wrong with me? And that's when you graduate high school, and then you, like, them habits that you had in high school with that comparison, you get out and start comparing everything else. You start chasing success because you think success is going to make you feel more superior. You think success is going to put you on a certain type of pedestal. They got the poor class, middle class, and the top notch. You know what I'm talking about. They do this shit for an egotistic structure build, bruh. So when you get out of school, if you see your boy with a Corvette, you would think that he's more successful than you just because he got a Corvette and you don't have a car. And that all started with kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, all the way up till you graduated in college and more, bruh. And more, bruh. So listen, your ego structure started with that, but it didn't stop with that. After you get out of school, you're also going to church every single Sunday. And then most of y'all went to church every single Sunday, but you had choir practice and you had Bible studies on Wednesdays. This shit was done in a systematic fashion to put that shit in your subconscious mind, to add that to your identity and your way of life. So therefore, you clinged on to that religion for dear life, and it was a fear factor at that attached to your identity that told you to do this or you will face an internal consequence that lasts forever in the afterlife. And you believe that because you already started to build the ego structure. You already started to see what it felt like to be discouraged, sad, mad, because you was making comparisons. You feel me? So when you went to church, you wanted to at least prove to God that you was worthy of heaven, because they systematically programmed you to believe that in church. You feel me? So when you went to church, it was done every week. They didn't have church just once a month. They did that shit every week, and they're going over the same Bible scriptures, beating that into your subconscious mind so that could be a firm belief of yours so you can play your role in society in that type of fashion. So then when you left Christianity, you wanted a sense of belonging somewhere because your ego don't want to stray away from clinging on to something. It has to cling on to something because that's its role. It clings on to things out here to make you feel alive, to give you a meaning to your life in this dream state. It wants to not feel like a dream. It don't want God to realize itself just so you can have more of a surreal moment here in the dream state. So you won't be bored, basically. So when you left Christianity, you never left your ego with Christianity. You brought your ego, like me, to spirituality. And everything in spirituality, you started to learn in a systematic fashion more at a faster rate than you was doing Christianity because we got YouTube. You feel me? You had to go to church and learn from your preacher every Sunday. But on YouTube, you can learn every day, every hour of the day about the cosmos, about them energies, high vibrations, low vibrations, aliens, all this other shit. So imagine all the shit that your ego was able to attach itself to. That's why people build and develop a spiritual ego thinking that they got the answers to fucking everything because they go for hand-me-down knowledge that somebody else done put on this platform, and they take that, they cling on to it, and they believe in that just the same way they used to believe in Jesus. If I was to go to a person that used to go to church and is now spiritual, bro, they couldn't doubt that if somebody was to be like, yo, Jesus ain't real, they would have defended that with their life. Nigga, what you talking about? Jesus ain't real. Nigga, Jesus is real. So if I tell you that spirituality is bullshit, you're going to do the same thing that you would do to defend Jesus. Because your ego wants it to be that, and your ego don't want to get humbled. It don't want to be humbled. It wants to feel like it's right. And if it don't feel like it's right, it wants you to give it the consent to clarify, to change your mind so it can cling on to another idea. Because your brain has been going since kindergarten. It's been overanalyzing. When you took a test in kindergarten, what happened? No, not even kindergarten. When you went to high school, what happened when you took that test? You got anxiety. They call it test anxiety, right? Test anxiety. They did that shit on purpose so your brain would start to overthink and overanalyze, and just to make you have a good comparison to your classmates, or to be able to feel like you was of the superior because you got a good grade, because you're doing good. But if you got a bad grade, you got to go through tutor and shit like that because you're doing bad in comparison to the other classmates. You know what I'm saying? And you got to graduate, you got to pass this certain level in school to get to the next level. You feel me? But it was all an ego structure build. It was all an ego booster to give you confidence in thyself and just to build up to your identity. You know what I'm saying? To feel like you're somebody and to feel like you got some type of importance here. You know what I mean? In the civilization that they structured for us. You understand me? So with that being said, bruh, school basically built the ego, and we took the ego after school and ran with the shit. Ran with the shit. We started calling people broke. We'll call people a bum. We'll call people non-successful. We'll call people poor. We'll call people rich. We'll call people all these labels. They created these labels so your ego can cling on to it. So you can feel important if you were successful, or you can feel like shit if you was poor. That's why it's very hard for people to get in this blissful state of enlightenment and really feel like this shit is a game and just have their way out this motherfucker, because they overanalyze. Their brain is overanalyzing everything. It's overthinking everything. It's overcomplicating everything. It's giving you different thoughts to analyze and break down to a T until you can't break down that shit no more. And then it gives you another thought to analyze and break down to a T until you can't break that down no more. That's why meditation and observing your thoughts, being the observer, is very important in anything. You don't have to meditate to be the observer. You can literally observe your thoughts while you in high school, while you sitting at a damn meeting, while you at work, during lunch, during your work hours, while you're working. You can observe your thoughts and not choose to overanalyze. You can literally choose to not overanalyze. You can stop the whole process in the midst of the analyzing, like in the midst of the analyzing process. You feel me? That's how you really, and then another thing that people don't want to do, they don't want to let go of everything that they believe in. They don't want to let go of it because you feel as if you're not going to be able to embrace the lost feeling. You're not going to be able to embrace just being present, just being alive and being here. You're not going to be able to embrace just that. You got to have a sense of meaning as to why you're here. Just like I felt. Just like I felt. You feel me? Just like I felt. When I first became a vegan, a vegetarian, excuse me, I wasn't ever a vegan, you know, fuck that, I ain't doing all that. But when I first became a vegetarian, if you ate meat, I thought you was a low vibrating entity. That was the ego that I wasn't even aware of. The ego was so smooth and clings onto your identity from the very beginning of kindergarten and like second grade and all that shit, that you can't even be aware of it because it's been there since the very beginning of the ego structure being built. So when I became a vegetarian and you ate meat, I thought I was so spiritual and vibrating so fucking high that if you ate meat, that meat was that energy that animal was going through transferred to you and allowed you to become a low vibrating entity. And since I didn't eat that meat, I never caught that transferred energy from that torment of that entity that got killed. I never caught that shit. So therefore, I'm vibrating higher than you. I'm happier than you. I'm more peaceful than you. I'm living a better life than you. All because I'm a vegetarian and you eat meat. Niggas don't see this shit, bruh. But I used to go on other niggas' platforms and look at the comments and look how people talk amongst other people with their egos that they aren't even aware of. They aren't even aware of. Even spiritual teachers are teaching from the ego and they aren't even aware that they are teaching from the ego, bruh. We don't know the true essence of life because that's like God trying to figure out God. That's like God trying to know why it's God. That shit ain't gonna happen in the dream state because when you leave the dream state, you are not aware of awareness itself because you are absolutely being. You understand? So when you come to the dream state, if you say that you got life figured out to a fucking T, that's an egotistic mind state, bruh. Egotistic mind state. I can't tell you what we're doing here. I can consciously give you an egotistic answer, a deep resonance within me, but I would tell you openly that I don't fucking know and I don't give a damn. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool with just being and being able to manifest shit based off my subconscious mind, reprogramming my subconscious mind and going after shit unconsciously and getting what the hell I want out here effortlessly. You feel me? Or giving it to the all-knowing and letting it give me a download that will give me the idea to get what I want effortlessly. You feel me? You know what I mean? The ego structure is built. Now I'm gonna get deeper, bro, because I got time right now. I'm very comfortable. So, with that being said, the elite knew what they was doing with the ego structure. They got documents here, they got doctrines that stayed throughout people dying and other babies coming in and all that. They kept all this history. When they know that they got the power to delete history, they got the power to delete history. It's possible that none of this shit happened, and it's the Mandela effect, and they put that shit there just for people to believe that it happened. I don't know if y'all heard about the Mandela effect. That's when people go and mess with the past and make you believe that that shit actually happened there when it never fucking happened, just because they documented it. And they pushed it to the masses. And they know that your ego is going to cling on to it because you got an identity and you cling on to your identity. And if this shit identifies with you, you're going to cling on to the history as well. You feel me? Only way I could talk is from a black person's point of view. Because I got the skin color and I've been there in them shoes. So I'm going to go to slavery. That's what the ego don't like. It don't like when, like, bro, niggas will lose their life if you talk about something black, bro. I know I would. Like, back in the day, if somebody was talking about my skin color, I was so attached to my identity, nigga, we was going that way. You feel me? But, like, look, they put slavery in the school books, bro. They had school lessons on slavery. It was only right for your ego to identify itself with somebody that looked like you. It was only right. It was only right for the elite to put that shit in your face so you can identify yourself with it, because it knew how powerful your subconscious mind was, and it knew if it put it in these history books and it put it on Google, the elite got control over everything that we research. I want y'all to know that shit. It don't think that this shit you're not sneaking past the elite, bro. Niggas ain't sneaking past the niggas that created this shit. You feel me? We are using their programs to research shit, bruh. You understand? We are not sneaking past shit. We are on American soil. They can stop all information from overseas even to touch America if they wanted to. They can be like, nigga, I don't even want you to know about African history. We're not even going to allow anybody over here that's an American citizen to have any access to African history. We would cut off that whole entire continent and we will focus on our own shit and not allow nobody to look up their history. But they let you do that shit. But when they let you do it, they let you see the misery. They let you see the misery first. And then niggas had to go look at the Egyptians and shit like that. Because they had to cling on to another sense of identity, bruh. They had to get rid of that misery that they already was clinging on to. It was like, yo, hold on, slavery? That shit fucked up. Them niggas black like me. Them my ancestors, bro, what the fuck? Oh, hold up, we was kings? Oh, hold up, let me cling on to this shit. But they already was aware of the clinging process. That's what I want to get through your head. They already knew how your subconscious mind worked. They are your reflection manifesting their will out here over your free will. That's what they're doing. They're breaking that universal law, bro. You are supposed to have your free will and be able to manifest what you want to manifest without bending other people's free wills. But they are bending your free will subliminally by tapping into your subconscious mind throughout your kindergarten all the way up to 12th grade to college process. And they are showing your history on purpose. They already know about all this shit. They already know about all this shit. They don't want you to listen to your intuition and stop going out here and chasing money and working to pay your fucking rent to keep these billion-dollar corporations running. They don't want you to think they don't want you to think with your intuition and do what fulfills you. They don't want you to do that. They want you to think with your egotistic mind. Think that you have to be successful of the 1% or you're going to be miserable. They want you to think that you can be in the poor class or you can raise up a little bit and get to the middle class, and that actually means something. They don't want you to be happy where you're at in the present moment and act off your intuition, because they know if they did, a lot of these corporations will fucking fall, bruh. Because the only reason why most people work their jobs is because they're in a fear state of the ego and they're scared to quit their job because they think it's going to do something to their livelihood. You understand? You understand? People cannot let go of their identity, bruh. People cannot let go of their identity. You got teachers out here that's talking about the black people like we're superior to white people. And there's a numerous amount of them, bro. I can name them on my damn shit, hands and toes, bro. If they black, they most likely putting black people on a pedestal, bro. They most likely think that the white person has been the oppressor this whole damn time. But I want to tell you something. If you go to a psychologist and you tell them that you got a problem, you don't got a problem until you give yourself the consent that you got a problem. You create that illusion that you have a problem before you ever go talk to a psychologist. If you go talk to a Zen master and tell him that you got a problem, he gonna send your ass back to where you came from. You can't go over there and talk to them Buddha monks over there like something is wrong with you. You can't do that shit. But you can go to a psychologist and tell him that you got a problem, and then he would try to prescribe you, bruh. For a profit off your ego. Off your ego. Off your ego. You think there's right and wrong. You think people can die. You think there's masses of destruction. You think that everything is good or bad, but you was taught that shit. If you wasn't taught that shit, you would be like my daughter. You would be like my daughter. You would be simply pure consciousness, no thoughts in your mind, just experiencing life. Like Sadhguru, like Alan Watts, like Ram Dass. The list goes on of these people that touched enlightenment, like Osho, like Mushi. These niggas that touch enlightenment, they don't have no judgmental process, bruh. They don't have no judgmental process. They are literally at the baby state of just pure consciousness. You understand? The more you hold on to your identity, the more you're going to live life in a fear state. All they got to do is kill another black person. And just because that person got your skin color, you're going to think that people are after your ass. And you're going to live in a fear state to every cop out here, bruh. You're going to feel like you're the victim. Only because you gave yourself the consent. Don't ever think that you're not powerful enough to consciously give yourself the consent to project something out here in the energetic field that we're living in so it can bounce that same energy right back to you to give you that life. Don't ever think that you're not that powerful, bro. Because I know for a fact that you are powerful to do that shit. If niggas created the airplane out of nothing, niggas created the radio frequency out of nothing, niggas created fire out of nothing, I know that you're powerful enough to create the fear state out of nothing. You feel me? All because they put something on the news and it identifies with you and your ego, it matches up perfectly. Therefore, you're living in the fear state of an oppressor that you created. That you created. And they know that you're going to do that. That's why they publicize it. That's why they broadcast the shit. That's why at a moment in time, we just saw black people dying. They showing the most brutal shit. Like it's World Star, nigga. They got that shit publicized. Can't breathe. Fucking knee on his neck and shit. Looking horrible as shit, but it's all over the damn web, bruh. Like it's World Star, nigga. Because they know that black people are going to watch it and identify themselves with it using their ego. And they're going to feel as if they got an oppressor. And they're going to live in a fear state. And they're going to live angry. And they're going to live mad. And you're not going to live in bliss. You're not going to be blissful acting off your intuition, not being attached, but being able to experience this experience and attach to things as you want to attach to them, knowing that you can practice the law of detachment at your own will. You can decide to detach whenever you want to. It's not going to be an easy phase. Your ego don't want to detach because it gave you a so real experience when you was experiencing that, practicing the law of attachment. There's a law of attachment, and then there's the law of detachment. The law of attachment gives you a deeper experience of whatever you're wanting to identify with in that present moment in time. The law of detachment knows that everything is temporary and that you are to go to another experience to experience in the present moment in time. People stay attached to shit their whole fucking life and they die like that. They either be a Christian and they die a Christian. They either be spiritual, they die spiritual. They either live thinking that we have an oppressor and they die feeling like they've been victimized. They either fucking feel like they've been successful their whole fucking life and they die with that idea. You know what I'm saying? It's how real this shit is, fam. You gotta let go of everything and see what happens. See how beautiful it is to feel like nothing. See how beautiful it is to really let go of all your attachments and just experiencing shit brand new. The ego structure is so built that we call a tree, but a tree don't give a fuck about us, bro. We call a bear, but a bear don't give a fuck about us. We call everything and labelize everything, but it don't give a fuck about us. What we're labeling don't give a fuck about us. It don't give a fuck about us. It don't care. It's being, it's present. It's present, it's pure consciousness, just experiencing thyself without a judgmental process of it. When a bear wants to eat, it intuitively knows to do so. When a bear wants to sleep, it intuitively knows to do so. There's no thought process. There's no thought process. The human, we are at this pure consciousness where we are a level above everything because we can overanalyze and overthink shit and think ourselves into a miserable state. Nothing is supposed to be able to really get underneath your skin like that, bro. From the very beginning. From the very beginning. The only time it started is when the ego structure was built and it had pride behind it, feeling like you needed to defend something or you was going to be sad. Feeling like you wasn't in comparison, that you was inferior to somebody and you're sad because of that. If I say that your shoes are whack, you're supposed to let that shit bounce off of you, but you can't because your ego structure don't want you to feel inferior because you was taught that inferior is a bad thing because bad grades, it could be